Good day, Anona family and friends. Today's devotion. We're continuing the 21 questions that Wesley asked from the book, The Wesley Challenge. We're looking this week at all of those questions that have to do with self. And so today, my question is, do I grumble or complain constantly? I bet you know somebody like that. I've known people like that in my life. They're the kind of people you want to avoid. You don't want to get near them because they are just so negative. Saturday Night Live started a skit in 2004 called Debbie Downer. And no matter what the situation, Thanksgiving dinner, a wedding reception, a birthday, whatever it was, Debbie Downer was always the one that could find the most negative things about whatever was going on and happening. And so we certainly don't want to be like that in our own lives. So Wesley must have had that same situation during his time, where he had people that were negative and complaining, and he wanted to have us look at that, because we can go to Scripture and look at the times that it says, don't be complaining, be positive. In fact, today's scripture comes from Paul's book to Philippians. It comes from Philippians 2:14 through 16a. And I'm reading from the Common English Bible. It says, do everything without grumbling and arguing, so that you may be blameless and pure, innocent children of God, surrounded by people who are crooked and corrupt. Among these people you shine like stars in the world, because you hold on to the word of life. And Paul, when he says word of life, he's talking about the good news of Jesus Christ. We hold on to that. Now, Paul was, in the book of Philippians, was comparing some of the complainers and arguers in the early church to the people that Moses led out of bondage, led out of slavery. And as they were wandering before they got to the promised land, they were constantly complaining and saying, oh, why did you bring us out here to die? We should be back home. And so there were times when that negativity just seeped into all those other people around them. Now, there's probably lots of reasons people complain. Now, sometimes we just feel like everything is out of our control and all we can do is gripe about it. But sometimes we gripe because it's the easier alternative than trying to do the hard work of fixing what is the problem. But I think the real problem with constant complainers is they haven't found what it means to be content with themselves. It's hard for them to see the positive. And it's always easier to blame someone else for your circumstances or your situation than it is to look at yourself. So one of the questions that Wesley wanted us to think about and to concentrate on was, are we constantly complaining? If we are people of faith, if we are people of the good news of Jesus Christ, this should be joyful. This should be happy. This should be positive. Even when negative situations happen around us, it doesn't have to rob our joy and our positive outlook. And sometimes we get into this habit of just complaining and we don't even think about it. And so that's the importance that these questions in a group, in a setting with people you know, can help you see if maybe you're doing things that are causing other people to feel negative. Well, our negativity can bring others down. And so one of the things I like what he says here in the book, when we learn to be content or satisfied, we reverse the patterns of negativity in our life and find the positive. This changes our outlook from doom and gloom to room to bloom. And that's exactly what Paul was talking about when he says, You will shine like stars. And isn't that what we should be doing as Christians? We should shine like stars so that the whole world can see. And when we are positive and when we are shining like stars, people are drawn to that. They want to find that. And even though we may have some negative things happening in our life, do we see the room to bloom rather than just doom and gloom? So I challenge you this week. Pay attention to your urge to complain throughout the day. And when you find yourself on the verge of grumbling or complaining, stop and ask yourself what will be gained by this. Keep a mental note. What does this tell you about yourself? Maybe we need to be more positive. So this week, I hope that rather than complain and be negative, you can feel that positive energy of the love of God in your life, and you can shine like stars. Hope you have a good weekend. Hope to see you in church this Sunday. You can always watch our services live.anona.com on your web. So have a good weekend. I look forward to seeing you next week as we talk about the questions we ask ourselves and Wesley asked about our relationship with others. See you next week. Bye-bye.